it's rant o'clock. I've signed up for 3 marathons this year. I've clearly caught the bug enough that I think I know enough that I could pull off 3 this year in a way that I'll be very happy for doing so. I can go into the reasons why. I think the short summary is that my why nots that most people would have just don't exist. I want to. And what I want to get into is I've talked with a lot of other folks. I'm in a running club. I have some weird affiliations with people who are pretty athletic. I did a long hiking trip on the Appalachian Trail. I met some people that way. And I poked around because some of these events are local enough. It's not like the Abbott World Major Marathons are very, very difficult to get into. Just getting in the marathon is harder, I would say, than actually doing the damn thing. You're going to, the preparation and the admin and having the resources on hand to pull it off. I would say that's more than just the hours spent on that day itself. But, for example, I'm running the Jersey City Marathon. That's easy. You want to run the Jersey City Marathon, you just go to the website, you sign up, you're in. You don't have to worry about qualifying. I'm also in the Sydney Marathon in Australia this year. And again, that's way, way, way less convenient. But I'm excited to do these things. And again, I can go into why, but talking with most people who was like, hey, come do these with me. You can do it too. I've found that there's a litany of responses, and I wanted to go into who should not run a marathon and who I think definitely should, because I think those things get very simple in the end. If you have a curiosity and an inkling to, you should run a marathon. I think the amount of people who say I can't are grossly exaggerated compared to reality. Like, think about it this way. If there was a horde of zombies going after you at 3.5 miles an hour, that's slightly faster than most people's walking speed, and they were going to do so for 27 miles, and all you had to do to not be devoured by them was go faster than that, I think most people actually would survive that challenge. Because getting eaten is horrible. Yeah, sure, I think a great number of people would also not. But I think most people could pull that off compared to the number of people who say, I cannot run a marathon. What they actually mean is, I won't run a marathon. I shouldn't run a marathon. It's not cut out for me. And, right there, that's fine. It's a self-fulfilled prophecy. I'm not here to sell it. I do think one thing that's beautiful about the marathon is it's abnormal. It takes an abnormal drive. It's not something most people are cut out for. Go into it later, but the whole story of the marathon is the first guy who did it died. I want to say Euripides, but he's a playwright. I forget. Philippides, whatever, so I'll look it up later. But the first guy who ran the marathon, first off, it wasn't even 26.2 miles. It looks like it was less than 23 miles, but no one knows for sure. He's running around the woods. He was running around the woods all night, so it's not even like he ran straight there. I don't mean to undermine it, but I'm saying, like, the story of the marathon then begets this race event where a bunch of people do it and don't die as a flex. We do that on the regular. I think that's a magnificent human achievement, but reality is also that less than 1% of the human population is going to do that. That's going up, by the way. Marathons are getting more and more popular. I don't know, I guess more people need to flex. But two, it's something that's going to define you to yourself. And that's one reason I really recommend it. If you can't afford it, if you've got it in you, it's going to teach you so much about yourself in the process. For example, I know how much structure I like in my training plan. I'm still learning so much, but I'm learning what works for me. Compared to, like, you can go online and find a marathon training plan. Most people aren't going to find one that works for them. They're not going to know what to tailor. They're not going to know what to train. A lot of folks are going to end up with injury. Things like that. And by injury, I mean, like, you might get shin splints and you might maybe shouldn't run for 2 weeks. That's an injury. And learning how to definitely not get that is the thing. Learning training mentalities, like learning how to go really fast for a run, learning how to run through a wall, learning how to run really slow. That's a big one for me. And why you would want to do these things. All of this becomes part of the project of getting yourself ready. You could also do what I did my first time. I would not recommend it. Be a ridiculous person, and then the month before the marathon go, oh shit, I got the marathon in a month. I guess I should start training. And then do a last minute emergency training plan. I learned a lot that way too, and I also got an injury from the marathon. I did it. Didn't do it with an admirable time, but I finished it, and I hurt myself in the process. So learning, why not to do that? That you're not invincible, that you do have limited mileage in the week. Getting an idea of what it is, how quickly you can do it. Learning what you're freaking capable of and how to pull it out of yourself. Doing something so abnormal that distinguishes, and I'm sorry for how this is going to sound, but it is amazing that for something where 1% of people will pull it off, have the drive to do it, want to do it, and do it, so many more than 1% of people have an opinion on doing it. So many people are going to have an opinion on you doing it. And the way that I see that right there, frankly, is completing a marathon. I don't want to say elitist, but it is more elite than what normal folks will do. That 99% of the population. And what you will have is the normies will weigh in on how you should feel about your performance and what you're doing, what the risks are. A lot of people might project why they're not doing the marathon onto you. And what I think the experience and the journey of getting yourself ready to your own terms, where even your self-esteem can kind of get involved, is because you work that hard at something, you put that much effort into it. Results will make you feel better. And honestly, you got skin in the game. Failure will make you feel like, why that happened. That journey, and having people who wouldn't dare go into that journey, weigh into that journey, that's going to be an experience for you too. And I recommend that, because I think if you are anyone who wants to do amazing things in life, you have to learn how to socialize your abnormal into the normal. And I think marathon is a perfect vehicle to do that. I would say marathon running itself, like the actual running of a marathon, is not healthy, but I would say training for a marathon is healthy as hell. I think I'm in the best shape of my life, and I even see ways that I can get better on that, which is totally different than when you're like an ego lifter who just reaches a point where they're happy with themselves and then things stop. Getting happy with doing the journey. I don't know, man. I recommend it. So long story short, should you do a marathon? Well, one, if you're even asking the question, I think you do kind of already have your answer. Two, if you have a bunch of excuses, I would think about them and challenge them. But I would also recognize that you do not have to start this crazy thing as crazily as possible. You can do your first marathon to see what finishing is like and how that project works for you. And if that triggers an itch, you'll see. And I do recommend that, because a lot of people, it does catch on. There's a minority of marathon runners who go, I definitely want to do that again. Whereas a lot of people, okay, I did that, would not do again. Check it out. See if it's right for you. And lastly, just learning how to train and learning how to optimize yourself. I don't know what else nature put us on this planet to do. But I know if there's a list of things that we were put on to do, that's one of them. So anyway, that's my rant. Rant o'clock over. Thanks for listening. Bye.